The first precept, to abstain from killing. Second precept, abstain from stealing. The third precept, to abstain from sexual activity altogether. Yeah. The fourth precept, to abstain from lying. The fifth precept, to abstain from alcohol and intoxicants. Yeah. So the only distinction is the third precept. For normal lay life, you abstain from sexual misconduct. Yeah. But for this 1 day, 1 night, the observance is full celibacy. Okay. So in the case of the first, the second, and the fourth precept, it should be seen as to abstain from harming others. Yeah. It's not so much a restriction. Yeah. It's a restriction only if you want to do something. Yeah. In this case, to kill, to steal, to lie. Yeah. So the precepts, if you look at the wording, in Buddhism, precepts are undertaken by ourselves. Yeah, it's not imposed upon people. Yeah, so it is in this way that we observe the precepts. So 1, 2, and 4. If we say that we cannot observe these precepts, we are basically saying, I may still want to kill, steal, or lie. So I cannot observe this. Yeah. Now, in the context of a precept in the retreat, then does it make sense? Yeah, to say that you still want to kill, steal, or lie, doesn't make sense, huh? So this should be quite straightforward. Before we continue, can I get you all to do an exercise? Close your eyes. Not to meditate. Don't straighten out more. Yeah. Smile. Smile. Open your eyes. Look at me. Smile. I want to see all of you smile. You know, whenever we go to a temple, yeah, or go for a religious, like Buddhist center or what, then you see everybody. Oh. The Buddha and the monks were described as the happy ones. Kind of hard to imagine them being called happy ones if they are always yeah. We can be silent. Yeah. We don't have to be like so miserable. Or maybe it's because you look at the precepts and you feel miserable. The third one, the third precept is not so much about harming people or not, but is to practice celibacy in that it actually aids us in our practice. Yeah? It aids us in our practice. The larger context of these precepts is the Buddha in the teachings, he described that the 8 precepts is naturally undertaken by the noble ones, the enlightened ones. That means the enlightened ones quite naturally do not kill, do not steal, do not engage in sexual activity, do not lie, and so on. They naturally do it. Naturally in what sense? For us, whether in a retreat or out of a retreat, when we observe the precepts, we do not kill. Yeah? But in our mind, sometimes we may feel frustrated and we may have the intent to kill. Yeah? Like for example, at work, we feel very frustrated, feel like killing our boss. Yeah? We may not act on it. Yeah? But of course, usually when we have lunch and we say, I feel like killing my boss, you're not really thinking of that, you're just saying it. But when you go for some retreats and it's not in an enclosed area, and you get mosquitoes and stuff, yeah? Or at home, and that you see cockroaches, you see ants, yeah? Do you feel like killing the ants or cockroaches? In front of Buddha, don't lie. Huh? How many of you feel like killing cockroaches? Raise your hand. Yeah? You're frightened of them, and then you feel like killing them.
Try not to, but frightened.
Frightened.
Reassuring.
Some of us may be frightened. Some of us may find it distasteful. Yeah. So when we observe the precept at the first level, it means that while inside us we still have the urge to do it, but we restrain ourselves. We refrain ourselves from doing it. And this is the first level of observance of precepts. Yeah? So we only change our body and speech, but the mind is still not there yet. So this is the first level of observance. This is what in Chinese called 律仪戒. Yeah? Purifying our behavior by observing the rules. Yeah? Simply by the rules. Yeah? The second level is 定共戒. Yeah? Observing the precepts, purifying our behavior by the mind, yeah? Through concentration. Because by virtue of the meditative power, then we naturally have no reason to kill, to steal, to engage in sexual misconduct and so on. Yeah? But after we finish meditation, hard to say. Yeah, so this is called observing precepts coupled with concentration, second level. It means the mind itself, when in a meditative state, greed and hatred are suppressed. Yeah? The 5 hindrances, the first two, sensual desire and greed, hatred and ill will, is suppressed. Yeah. So while in meditation, with the power of jhana and samadhi, then the urge to kill and steal, to harm others, is suppressed. But not enlightened yet. Yeah. So this is the second level. Third level is when a person succeeds and attain enlightenment. And upon attaining enlightenment, even the view is purified. Yeah? Body, speech and mind, and the view is purified. Yeah? So there's no more impetus, no more causes or reasons for the defilements to arise. Yeah? Greed, hatred, delusion, the root defilements do not even arise. And as a result, there's no more cause for the intent, even the intent to kill, do not even arise. Yeah? So the Buddha declared that arahants are incapable of doing certain things. Yeah? 4 of which are the first 4 of the fundamental precepts. Yeah? The 4 fundamental precepts. Killing, stealing, sexual activity, and lying. Yeah. So for the enlightened ones, it's not a restriction. Yeah? Because they have no more impetus to kill and so on and so forth. So in the teachings, the Buddha gave the 8 precepts as a way for lay people to live for 1 day, 1 night. Yeah? To live 1 day, 1 night similar to an enlightened one. Similar externally like that of a monastic. Yeah? So if you look at the precepts up to number 5, then for number 5, to abstain from alcohol and intoxicants. Yeah? The enlightened ones naturally value clarity of the mind. Yeah? They have clarity of mind and they see value in that, so they do not do things to pollute, to cloud that judgment. Yeah. Now then, 6, 7, 8. Number 6, to abstain from food at improper times. Yeah. Usually improper times is from noon until the break of dawn the next day. Yeah. So some of you may have medical conditions. You're on long-term medication. You can still observe this precept. Okay. Observing this precept doesn't mean that you cannot eat things. It means that you abstain from eating things at improper times. If you are sick, then you can eat it because that's proper for you. Yeah? The precept is meant to help us in our training. training of the mind. It's not meant to torture us or to kill us. Okay? So a show of hands, how many of you require medication? Okay? So does your medication require you to have the like some food base before taking? Yes? How about you? Huh? Liquid? How about you? Yes? Small amount, okay. Is there anyone who, besides the three of them, have medical grounds? And by medical grounds, we are not talking about, I feel like eating. No, I feel like eating is just a feel. Unless you get an MC from the doctor, and the doctor certify that your feel is so strong that it would physiologically affect you. Okay. Yes. You raise your hand? You have just now asked. So, just four of you. So, anybody else? Yes? You also? Yeah. You as well?
I will try.
No. Okay. So there are certain things that I will ask you to try. Like when you do sitting later on, and the leg is maybe uncomfortable or painful, and you feel like moving, I will say, try not to move. Yeah? That part you must try. And if it's like so uncomfortable that it disturbs your sitting, then move, but move mindfully, consciously. Yeah, don't just mindlessly shift here, fidget there. Yeah, then we miss the training. Yeah, but for medical grounds, do you need to take medication or you gastric problem? Who else has gastric problem? Okay, so did you all arrange the steamboat? No. The rest of you, you have steam. You must know that we call the food that is taken in the evening 药食. Yeah. So food that is taken on medical grounds is to be taken like medicine. Yeah. In fact, in the teachings, the Buddha advised the monks and nuns to look at food as medicine. Yeah. Why? Because food serves to allay our hunger. Yeah. And by doing that, it removes the discomfort, the pain of hunger. And by nourishing the body, it prevents us from malnutrition. Yeah. Prevents us from ultimately passing away if we don't take food and drinks. Yeah? So it is a form of medicine in the Buddhist practice. Yeah? So later on we'll be giving them medicine, okay? Don't look at them with envy. Yeah? Prepare the steamboat medicine. What are we giving them? What are we giving them?
Oats and unsweetened soybean powder.
What?
Oats and unsweetened soybean powder.
So it's the raw oats, I mean cooked raw oats. Yeah. So it's not that they are having steamboat, they can make order, go Uber Eat or what. No, yeah. Because the point is, if you have gastritis, then you need to eat something, otherwise you're going to get hurt. So you don't have to try. Just because you take the supplement, you are not breaking this precept. You are still observing the precept. Yeah, because you are not eating at improper times. Yeah. In the Buddha's time, when this rule was set, there were some monks, when they were sick, and advised by the doctor, Dr. Jivaka, to eat, they refused the doctor's advice. And when asked, they said, well, the Tathagata has set the rule to abstain from food at improper times. Yeah, so we shall not take it. So days went by and they did not recover. Yeah, and the doctor went to see the Buddha and told the Buddha, your monks, they are not recovering because they are refusing food after afternoon. Yeah, out of compassion, please let them have some food. So the Buddha allowed them to have strained juice. Yeah, so juice, and they strain the pulp and they let them drink. And after drinking that for a few days, they gain enough strength, yeah, and then they recovered. But there are those whose condition were more severe, they still didn't recover. And then the doctor went to see the Buddha again. Then the Buddha permitted a further extension. So there are a few allowances given, and the general rule is that whatever is required for the person to recover. Yeah. So when you have medical grounds and you take some supplement, you are not breaking the rule, you are still observing the rule. Okay? So that's number 6. And the next day, this is a stay-out retreat. So the next morning, at the break of dawn, and by break of dawn, there's a few definitions. When you step out of, in Singapore you can't apply this first part of the rule, because the first part of the rule is when you step out into the open area and you extend your hand, you can see your palm lines. Yeah, not read your palm lines, but you can see your palm lines. In Singapore, the whole day you can see your palm line. Yeah, so you cannot apply it literally by the letter, okay? Otherwise you can eat the whole day. Yeah. Then the second definition of break of dawn is when you, in the morning, when the moment you see a clear distinction between the sky and the ground, yeah, when the silhouette is clear, yeah, even though it's not sunny yet, yeah, that is break of dawn. But in Singapore these days you don't have to so chicham, go out and check, can see a lot. Oh, you have sun guang, cannot see. Yeah. In Singapore it's about 6:45 there, about, yeah, plus minus 10 minutes. Yeah, every day is different, so you can check the news. Yeah. Most countries, Singapore's time zone is shifted. So break of dawn is about 6:45 to 7. And our solar noon is not 12, it's close to 1 p.m. About 12:45 to 1 p.m. So if on other days you are observing the 8 precepts on your own, take note, yeah, that you are allowed to have your meal up to about 12:45 to 1-ish, yeah, around there. Yeah. So this rule is about restraint, yeah, that you eat sufficient amount of food to sustain you the whole day. Yeah. Can you all do it? Can, when Sifu asks, can or not, then you should say, yes. Yeah. Not very, can. Okay. Number 7 actually has 2 parts. Yeah. The first part is abstaining from adornment, and the second part is entertainment. Yeah. Adornment and entertainment. So some of you text me, Sifu, for the next day's retreat, can I apply toner? Can I apply moisturizer? Can I apply this, apply that? Yeah. You want to apply concealer? Don't need lah. 1 day, 1 night. Yeah. By the time it's night, nobody see. They all close our eyes. None. Right. What is that to see? No problem. Yeah. Did any of you apply already? Huh? Eyeliner, mascara. Yeah. Then you know what some students ever ask me, Sifu, how about her? She dyed her hair. What you want me to do? Ask her to go and bleach it off. Yeah. So anything that is extraneous that you usually apply to beautify yourself. Yeah. And this PA system is very interesting. When they do testing, there's no interruption. But then when Shifu take over the mic, yeah, maybe I produce a lot of static. So, whether this applies, do not think that this is a sexist rule, okay? This applies to men and women. Yeah, no additional adornments. Yeah, so all the rings, necklaces, all your gold bar, yeah, you can keep it, okay? Yeah. Anybody? You don't have any jewelry or anything? Watches? It's fine lah. Watches is fine. Yeah, as long as you don't get distracted by your own watch. Yeah. Whole day, oh, Apple Watch, Apple Watch, Apple Watch. Yeah. Anybody wearing an Apple Watch? Do not use it beyond using it as a clock, okay? Or watch, okay? Yeah. Don't, I submit my handphone, then from over here connect to a handphone, then check WhatsApp. Yeah. So the first part, non-adornment. And this rule is quite interesting because so there was one day when I was staying in the Buddhist library, and then it dawned on me that, in the past as a lay person, each day when we... today is left hand, usually it's my right hand. So it dawned on me that we usually want to make ourselves presentable. Okay, that sounds strange, like usually want to make don't we all always want to make ourselves presentable? Is there any time or day where you wake up and say, I don't want to be presentable today? Anyone? Have you ever wake up one day and say, who cares? I don't want to be presentable, or I don't need to be presentable? Huh? Ever? When is it? Huh? Today. Yeah. Yeah, and that's a good point, Why today? And one question is, why today? And the second question is, and as a result of that, what happens? So when we try to present ourselves, usually is to give people a good impression. And by that, it means that we're concerned with the impression. So before you even start dolling yourself up or choosing what to wear and so on, there's a lot of mental process. Yeah. There's a lot of consideration, a lot of thinking. Yeah. And after you're done, are you done? No. When you go out, then you meet people, and then one person smile at you, the other person didn't smile, and wonder, is there something wrong? My hand okay? Yeah. So when we observe this precept, it's not simply stopping us from not putting on adornments, but the mindset behind is even more important actually. Yeah. It's to recognize that can we be okay without trying to impress people? Yeah. Are we okay if we live for one day and night, not being attached to how we look? Yeah. Not being attached to this body. To not identify with the physical appearance as me. Yeah. And if after one day, we're okay, then we got to ask ourselves, then on other days, why is it not okay? Now, granted, in the corporate world, there are some norms that has to be observed. Yeah, if you go to work, in some professions, if you go to work without any even light makeup, and then you wear t-shirt, and then you wear like that, just now someone commented to me and said, "Hey, Sifu, look like funeral." Yeah, and not Amor funeral. This one is Chinese funeral, black and white. So when we are at work, then there are certain norms to be observed. Yeah, certain requirements. Yeah, so while we do that, it's the mindset. To conform to that, okay, we do that. Yeah, but without that extra concern or worry. Is this good enough? Yeah, will people say this? Will people say that? There are some students who tell me, 师父, you're a guy ma. You know, for ladies, how troublesome not? If I wear the same thing more than once in a week, jialat. Huh? Do you think people actually care or look at you and say, hey, same blouse ah? Will people say, how many of you think that people will say that? 1, 2, 3. The rest? Sure not. Huh? Maybe people say that. Maybe people will comment. Yeah? But who cares what people say if you bring in the numbers? You think your boss will care if you bring in the numbers? It's when you don't bring in the numbers, then your boss will start picking on your clothes. Yeah. I mean, you look at Steve Jobs. He was always wearing that jeans and that round turtleneck thing. You know? Yeah. You can put on a suit and whatever, and then you come up with a lousy product. You think the news is going to, you think the press is going to be kind to you? Yeah. So, the second part of the precept, to abstain from entertainment. Yeah. So, for a long time, I always thought that this precept is about like making our life tough, you know. Cannot watch movies, cannot listen to music, cannot play iPhone games, and so on and so forth. I always thought that it's about restricting ourselves. Yeah. After all, what is a retreat without making you feel a bit miserable? Yeah. But over the years, I start to appreciate that, no, it's not about making our life miserable. Yeah. It's about the fact that enlightened ones, they have no need for entertainment. In fact, anyone who is okay with the present moment, regardless of how so-called plain it is, yeah, dull for that matter. I correct myself. The person wouldn't feel that it's dull. Yeah. If a person can do that, the person wouldn't feel boredom. Boredom is a sense of aversion towards not having something stimulating. So this precept is really about saying, are we able to live without excitement, without stimulation? Yeah. Without something to so-called bring laughter to us. Are we able to live in peace with happiness on our own? Yeah? Can we be happy with ourselves just by being with ourselves? Or do we need some entertainment to entertain us? Yeah. Now, in your normal days, no crime and shame to go for a movie, to go for a walk, to go window shopping, whatever. Yeah, but try. Yeah? One day, one night. Especially for those who are attending retreats for the first time. Yeah, to catch ourselves. Yeah. So throughout the whole day, and even when you go back, although we will give you back your phone, check yourself. Take this opportunity to observe ourselves. For the whole day I was okay. The moment I get back my phone, I feel like I must do this, I must do that. Catch ourselves, catch that mind. Yeah? That mind that is always coming up and saying, hey, why don't we do this? Hey, why don't we do that? Yeah. Being unenlightened, we tend to have this impetus, but don't act upon it. Just don't act upon it. We may have these thoughts, just don't act upon it. Because we are not enlightened yet, so we may have these thoughts. Don't beat yourself over it. Yeah? Tonight we go back, that whole night, I want to eat, cannot eat, I want to eat, cannot eat, I want to play, cannot play, I want to watch movie, cannot play. Then the next morning, whole night text Sifu, Sifu, I need to confess, I need to do repentance. No need. Yeah. We must know that at a certain stage, there will be this impetus. Important thing is, Okay, just don't act upon the impetus. Oh. So, number 7. Then number 8 is to abstain from sitting on high chairs, high and luxurious chairs and beds. Yeah? So this is about living a life of simplicity, not to pump up ourselves. Yeah? And by not pumping up ourselves, it helps us in our practice. Yeah? Again, it points back to not feeding the ego. Yeah. So, because this is stay out, when you go back, for those who are young and able, you may want to just, put a sleeping bag or mattress, no, not mattress, like something like just on the floor. Yeah. For those of you who are senior, you may want to just sleep on your bed. Yeah, because if you sleep on the floor and then the next morning you have to text Sifu, can you help me get up? Yeah, this is an advice given to me by some senior monks. Yeah, they told me, if you conduct retreats, please don't. Yeah, because elderlies, especially if you don't do it on a regular basis, then you sleep one night, the next morning wake up, then you cannot move. The precept is not meant to harm us. All right? Yeah. So, any questions about the 8 precepts? Any questions? The last time I asked, no questions. So I've briefed you all on the 8 precepts. I went through in brief the different rules. I've asked you 3 times for confirmation. You have all replied in silence, giving me acknowledgement that you have understood. So this is your choice. I'm not forcing you. You're on. Maybe you should turn around and show all of them. Yeah. So if there are no questions, all of you please rise.